Hey everybody, this is going to be your demonstration for your cell shading project this school year. So this will be done in Adobe Illustrator, and I just want to show you a couple student examples from last year. Just really good examples, and honestly, nothing too outlandish, like very doable. So anyway, here we go. Ideally, you're going to be doing a portrait, like a person's face. You could take this to like different degrees, as you can see here in this one, more of like a mask, but again, facial features. Now, I will show you some landscape options, but facial features are going to be a little bit easier for this project in terms of like mapping where the colors go. So what you do in this project is you're going to be breaking down each individual part of the person's face, hair, clothing, you name it, into one solid color. It's going to be creating this massively detailed like outline, almost like a coloring book, and then the coloring part actually becomes pretty easy, where you just kind of pop in one color per cell, hence the name cell shading. So we have like one color for here and one color for here. Anyway, let me get on with some other examples. So like I said, you don't have to do a face. You could do more of like a stylized mask. Also keep note of how these backgrounds are very minimalistic. We want to stay clean. You can go detailed, but clean is the objective, I would say, with these. Now, I don't know why these other ones opened up in a different thing, but they did. Here we go. So here's another one, and this one incorporates some landscape to it, which I think is really cool. You don't have to go full landscape. You're not expected to do really any landscape unless you want to. Again, full body characters are trickier to pull off. However, this student in particular did a really good job on it. And again, notice there are no blending. When you hit from one color, like the light blue to the dark blue, right where my mouse cursor is, it's just a clean edge, okay? Moving on, another portrait. Again, if you want to have more than just a face, which I think you should, shoulder height is really good. And by the shoulder being right here and right here, like that's kind of like the sweet spot in my opinion. The level of detail on this one is obnoxious, and I don't expect anybody to go this detailed, but if you want to, I mean, you can clearly see how good the results look. I think I got about 2 to 3 more. So this one I chose because the excellence of clothing in particular right here. So folds in clothing is something you want to pay attention to as you're doing this outline that we're going to get to in this video soon. You're outlining by shade of color, not just raw color, but by like how light or dark each individual color is. And by getting those darker folds in there, it's really cool looking. I guess I don't have any landscapes here, but that's fine. I mean, you can envision what they look like, or I'll show you later. So again, incorporating cool things into the background on this one with like the kind of like lightning like effects to it. Messing with transparencies is another option. Overlapping different colors, I think, like where you make different layers is a possibility. Again, gets more complicated, not expected of you, but if you kind of want to take it to the next level, that's something that you can do, like this one here. Do I have one more? That is it. I'll show you some landscapes in some other time then, but I thought that these 6 here were just really good examples. All right, what you're gonna need for this project is this file right up here in the top left of my, or top right of my desktop, pairs.jpg. This will be found on Schoology. You just wanna download it and save it to your desktop. And now we're gonna go ahead and just open up Adobe Illustrator down here in your taskbar. Click on that and let it open. All right, I have a completed one right here that I'm going to open in just a second, but let's set up our new file. So in the top left of Illustrator, you can click on new file right there. And now we are going to be doing this demo with the pairs file, but then you can obviously choose whatever you want. For the sake of the pairs, don't look at anything over here on the left, just go over here on the right. I'm going to call this cell shading demo, but you can call it, cell shading pairs or something like that. You want to make sure that the dimensions are in inches, and the width is 18 and the height is 12. The orientation should be wide right here, should be blue. On yours, you should do 18 by 12, but then you can swap it. If your photo is taller, you can go to tall or wide. It's up to you. Leave everything in bleed at 0. Color mode should be CMYK, and raster effects should be high at 300, and then go ahead and click create. Should end up with a white rectangle like this. Now I'm going to go ahead really quickly. You can ignore me, and I'm just opening up my other file of a completed example right here. You can see my pair that is done. All right, Back to mine. I want to make sure that our interface is, or that your interface mirrors mine exactly to make this lesson easier. At the top of the screen, you will see a window option, top center-ish. Click on window, and I want you to hover over workspace, and I want you to make sure that essentials is clicked. If it's not, go ahead and click essentials. The other thing that you can do if you want to be like 110% sure that you're good to go is once essentials is clicked, click on reset essentials right down here. What that'll do at any point in time is if the whole interface kind of gets a little wonky, it'll reset it to this. All right. In the top right, you're going to notice properties, layers, and libraries. We are really just going to be flopping between properties and layers somewhat often in this project, so kind of, get out of here. I wish that would go away. Just keep note of where they are. So click on layers actually to start. We might as well. And then something else that is handy of getting images into Illustrator, where it says Adobe Illustrator 2023 right here, click and drag, and you can kind of shimmy it over to the left a little bit, and then wherever your image is on the desktop, hopefully like right side-ish, you can find that image and click and drag it into Illustrator, and you see where that green plus sign appears. Let go, and now it's in Illustrator. So now I can go back up to the top and move Illustrator back over. There's my image. Check out this kind of annoying feature of Illustrator that's different than Photoshop. Ready? You want to. Our goal is to make the pairs a lot bigger, right? So you click and drag to expand, but whoa, they get kind of weird or they go upside down. As you're clicking and dragging to expand the image, hold down the Shift key on the keyboard, and you'll notice that it keeps it in perfect scale. So I'm going to make it bigger on that side, and then I'm going to continue to hold Shift, make it bigger on this side, and let go. You want it to almost fill the page, like this. All right, while that image is still selected, let's go back to Properties real quick up in the top right. So right there it says Properties. When Properties is selected, down in the bottom here on Quick Actions, you should see something called Embed right here. If you don't see Embed, that means it's probably because your photo is not selected. Double check that you have this huge blue X going through your photo. If you don't, just click on the photo, then it's selected. Then you'll see Embed, go ahead and click on Embed. What that does, that'll come into play later when we're trying to sample colors from the photo. If you don't embed it, it won't work. And if you do embed it, it will work. All right, back at the top where it says layers, let's go back to there and get some layer management out of the way so you don't have to worry about it. All right, where it says layer 1, look where my cursor is a little to the right of that. Double click, like tap, tap, really fast. And then you'll see layer options pop up. You can name the layer. I'm just gonna call it stock photo. That's what it is. It's just a stock photo that we're not really gonna edit. Afterwards, you want to hit this little lock button right here again because we don't want to edit it. And you want to do dim images to 50%. So it should look like everything is checked except for template. And then you can hit OK. And now you'll notice that your image is a little dimmed. This will make it easier to see your outline when you're drawing here in just a second. All right. To draw, you don't want to draw on the stock photo layer. So if you look all the way in the bottom right, there's a button with a plus sign. If you hover over it, it should say Create New Layer. Go ahead and click that, and then Layer 2 pops up right here. Double click on the text of Layer 2, and you should just simply be able to rename it, and we're just going to call it Outline, and then hit the Return key. All right, in terms of getting the tool ready for the outline, we're really only going to use the paintbrush tool right here. The hotkey for it is B, but you can take a look at it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down from the top. It looks like a literal paintbrush right there. Now, after the paintbrush is selected, look at the bottom left of your toolbar right here. These are 2 color options. We'll get into them later, but for right now, just to keep it simple, where this big white square is, not the one with the red slash, but this other one right here, double tap on it and change that from straight white to straight black, and then hit OK. Now, if you were to draw, it makes a line. If you ever make a line that you don't want, you can hold Command and hit the letter Z on the keyboard, and then I'll go back like 1 step at a time. All right, pick any pair that you want. In the demo I did, or my example, I already did the red, so I'm gonna change it up and I'll go to green. And you wanna zoom in on it a little bit. You can zoom 2 ways. You can pinch and pull on the trackpad like you would like a tablet or something like that, or you can hold down Command and tap plus. Alternatively, to zoom out, you can hold Command and tap minus. Okay. The other thing too, if you want to kind of like shimmy around but not zoom, place 2 fingers on the trackpad. Don't click down, just leave them resting on the trackpad and swipe around. And then you'll notice that like they move around. All right. Let me get to where I'm comfortable right here. So in terms of rule of zooming, you can zoom in too far. If you look at the bottom left, it will show a percentage. That's your zoom percentage. I actually kind of almost want to make this a requirement. I hate sounding like a rule breaker or strict person, but don't go over 200%, because that level of detail that you're going to do above 200%, it's not going to be seen in the print. It's low-key a waste of time. I recommend 150, I think, is a really good number. If you are like, I really want to get in there, I want to do some detail. 200, fine. Beyond that, I do think you're probably wasting your time on, like, the human eye won't see it when it prints. All right, now when you draw, you just click and drag to draw, but you'll notice that this line is pretty thick. So the way to make it thinner, I just think this is the easiest way. There are multiple ways, I'm not going to lie to you. Look at your keyboard. To the right of the letter P key, there are 2 brackets. The left bracket, every time you tap it, makes that little circle smaller. The right bracket, every time you tap it, makes the circle bigger. I recommend a really small line. Like, this small is good. This small is great. This is way too big. So one of these 2 sizes in that particular area, and you're good to go. Trying to get these other lines out of here. There we go. All right, I'm happy with about here. So to outline, just simply, what I do is I place 1 finger down on the trackpad. I'm right-handed, so I place my left index finger down on the trackpad and I click and hold. While my left finger is held down on the trackpad, I can just kind of freely draw around with my right finger, and then I lift them both up at the same time. And you'll notice that your lines become a lot smoother when you let go. So don't worry if you don't have like the world's steadiest hand. See that? It like perfects them for you. You can outline certain features like on the outside at first. Like here is the stem, right? But you obviously, we want more than 1 color for the stem. So what you can do then is subdivide it. Start cutting and slicing around where you see like major color changes on the stem, or even minor if you really want to like get in there and do some nitty-gritty detail. So something like this, I think, would look pretty neat. About there. And now you have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors for the stem. I think that's solid. That's probably more than enough. And then you want to break down other parts of the pear as well. We have this like more of like a brownish shape here at the top of the pear, so I want to kind of highlight that. And maybe I even want to break that into another one. There we go. And then I'm just going to go to the outside of the pear. And I notice that there's this white sheen right here. So I want to try to capture that by putting that right there. I'll continue to kind of go down and around. And then again, a big white or highlightish area here. But then I'm like, you know what? Maybe I want that to be like about 2. So I'll just kind of like swivel that down like there. And then it's really kind of just blocking out the cells from there. Again, I think the more organic you keep it, the cooler it looks. Like if you remember those examples I was showing you, they kept them really flowy. So kind of like as you're making them, go with the flow as much as possible. I'm going to copy paste my outline over right now of my finished outline. So here is my finished outline of my red pineapple. So let's take that and yes, let's try to line that up to the best of my ability. It looks okay, not perfect, but there it is. All right, so at this part in the video, let's pretend that we're done your outline. And there it is. Again, blocked off by kind of shade of color, going pretty detailed, but nothing too obscene. Okay, so like this is a good general about. All right, what you want to do is on layers where it says outline right here, see this little empty space right here? Click that, and you should see a little lock appear. on outline. That way you can't edit it anymore. You might be thinking, wait, but what are we going to do? Well, we're going to duplicate this layer. So once the outline layer is still selected, and you can tell it's selected because of the blue color right there, there's this little button in the top right there that my cursor is currently over. Click on that and you should see duplicate outline. There we go. Now we have outline copy. Double click not on the name outline copy, but a little over to the right. And then I want you to rename this to color. And then I want you to uncheck the lock. Don't lock this one. And then hit OK. All right. So now you know what the other thing I want to do? Don't worry about me doing this. I'm just hedging my bets that it'll be like this for you. I bet your layer is probably red, not green. What was I going to say? We want to select everything. So I want to select all of this color layer. Oh, you know what, too? Just to not get confused, your outline layer. Click on the eyeball of the outline layer. It won't look like anything's done, but that way the color layer and the outline layer don't kind of like connect or you don't accidentally do something to both. All right, so with the color layer selected, you want to hold down Command on your keyboard and hit the letter A. And what that does is it will select all, A as in all. Every little cell that you've made is now selected. Once everything is selected, you want to go to the top of the screen where it says Object. Click on that, and then you got to scroll really far down. You're looking for Live Paint. Hover over Live Paint. Don't click on it. Just hover over it, and then click on Make right here. You might get this little message. That's fine. You can hit OK to that. And then we want to deselect everything. The easiest way to deselect it is literally just click somewhere else, anywhere else. You will notice that your lines got thinner, and that's why I recommend staying with a pretty thin brush. So just because they will get thin down the road, and then there could be gaps. You'll see on mine I do have a few, and I'll show you what happens with those. All right, now that we have that set up, here comes honestly the fun and kind of easy part. Ready? You're going to need to be pretty well acquainted with the following two tools. The eyedropper, as you can see right here where my cursor is moving around, and the paint bucket, as you can see right here. I don't recommend selecting them on the left side of the screen. See how fast I'm going between switching them to? I recommend using hotkeys. On your keyboard, if you hit the letter I as in infinite, it brings up this eyedropper. And then if you click anywhere on your image, I'm going to click right here. It will sample the green of that leaf, like the exact pixel that I click on. Then hit K as in kangaroo on your keyboard, right below the letter I. And you'll see that that cell that I'm hovering over is now highlighted red. That means I'm about to paint bucket that cell. So I'm going to click inside of it again on the trackpad. Now you might be saying, whoa, that green's a lot darker than the image. That is because the image is still dimmed to 50%, but the eyedropper and the paint bucket remember the original color. If yours is looking a little dimmed, like if you're painting right now and the colors are kind of still matching the dim color, that's because we didn't embed the photo. So embedding is what saves us that extra step or whatnot. So go to the next cell, I, click I on the keyboard, click on the trackpad, K on the keyboard, click on the trackpad. I, click, K, click. I, click, K, click. I, click, K, click. And you see how pretty easy this is. I, click, K, click. Now I want to find one that doesn't work. Ready? Let me go to this one. Ready? So while let me go I, click, K, click. The whole thing filled. Even those circles, even though I wanted those circles to be different. So you can see there are these really tiny gaps right there, there, and there. In my personal opinion, skip it. Don't color that cell right now. Color all the other cells that work. If one cell is broken, just skip it. And here's why. After you're done coloring everything, let's just pretend this whole apple is colored, except for this cell. Maybe I'll color a few. Whoa. If that ever happens, just Command Z that. That just means I clicked too fast for the computer to process the whole thing. So if you're too good at this, it breaks the system. So you do have to kind of take your time a little bit on that. I click, K click, John. All right, there we go. I got the ones around the pair selected. All right, in here, when you're ready to go or you're ready to fix this issue, you want to go back and you want to select the brush tool right here, okay? Then the other thing that you want to do is hit I for eyedropper, but this time I want you to click on the literal line. See where it says like right here? You see how it's like highlighted there, that line? Click. All right, now go back to the brush tool. I guess I shouldn't have had you pick it that fast. So B for brush, and you'll notice that your brush is probably way too big. Hit the left bracket key on the keyboard a lot. Make it as small as humanly possible, and I want you to fill these gaps. Plug the holes. Overextend too, like overcompensate for these. See how I did that right there? Then we just have to redo that live paint make thing. So Command A to select everything. It doesn't matter even if everything else works, still just Command A, select it all, and then go back up to the top where it says Object, all the way down to live paint, and then make. Hit OK again, and then we want to deselect. Let me show you another way to deselect all. Hold down Command, hold down Shift, and then tap A. So Command Shift A will deselect everything. Notice how there are no gaps now? So if I do I, click, K, click, it works. I, click, K, click. I, click, K, click. I, click, K, click. And now everything is like its own little individual cell. So you want to I, click, K, click every cell known. And then you're going to be at, let me hop over to my, finished color job. It'll be like this. So let me copy this, and we will move it in here. All right, so now let's just kind of pretend that we just all do that together. You're done. You're done coloring. What do? We have to take out these black outlines because it looks a lot cooler without the black outlines. Now, if you were to do this in any other program, Photoshop, Sketchbook, or if you use something like Procreate, if you have like an iPad or whatnot at home, when you remove the black outlines, microscopic white gaps will be inside the outlines, and then you have to go in and manually fill each gap. That's insane. So watch what Illustrator does. You're going to do Command A to select all. All right. Oh, no, wait. Scratch that. Go back a step. Your layer, the layer that you had... Wait, hold on. I should delete this. Ignore me for a second. Okay, this layer here that's called color, right? I want you to duplicate it again. So have the color layer selected, click on this button up here, again, that little menu button, and click duplicate color. You should see color copy. Double click on the text of color copy, call it final, and hit return on the keyboard. Go to the color layer, hit this little space here to lock it, and also poke the eyeball out of color. You only want final. All right, now let's go to what I was about to jump the gun for. Command A to select all. You should see everything highlight. Your color might be different. Mine's blue right now. Yours still might be red. Doesn't matter. All right. After it's all selected, I want you to look over here on the left. You should see this black box with a hole in it. That means that there's a black outline to everything right now. We want no outline. So click on the black box. Make sure the black box is in front of the question mark box. And then hit this red slash right here that says none. It doesn't look like it yet because it's still selected, but now click off your pair, just click out into open space, and voila, the outlines are gone. But if you zoom in, you'll notice that it did not actually replace the outlines with anything. See? It's perfect. All right, background time. This should be fun and generally pretty easy. Let me zoom all the way out. For background, you want to actually eyeball out the stock photo entirely. You don't want to see the stock photo. You also want to lock the final layer, so your layer composition should look like mine right now. Let me X out of this little color box that came up. I want you to make a brand new layer. So go down here to the bottom right and hit this Create New Layer button again, Layer 5. Double click on that and name it Background. Hit Return. You want background to be the back layer, backmost layer, so click and drag it all the way behind everything, so background is at the bottom right here. And the tool that we're going to use to make background is this tool here called Rectangle Tool. Fourth down from the top, right there. Okay, Rectangle Tool. With Rectangle Tool, I want you to take a look down in the bottom left. You will have hopefully a color as this color and then none as the outline color. If not, what I want you to do, click on this little box right here, this back one. This back box with the hollow thing means the outside or outline color of an object. Before, like when we were drawing the outline or your cells, it was black. Now it's none. If yours is showing a color in here, can you click this red slash right there to make it look like just like that? None. Click on the other box, the one that's like a full solid box or square, and this is your fill color. If something random is showing there, double click real quick and just pick. Don't worry, you're going to change it in a hot second. Pick any color in this color picker and click OK. You just want a solid color right now for the background. All right, make a rectangle that is a little bit bigger than the entire white space. So start a little bit outside in the top left, click, drag, swipe all the way down outside. These black lines that you're seeing right now, those are the edge of the print. So when we print this, anything beyond those black lines will not show. Only you, the designer, get to see that, nobody else. So just keep that in mind. All right. After you've done that, we got to go back over to this bottom left little business over here, and this second little button right there, if you hover over it, will say gradient. Click on that. And now you'll see that your background is black and white. Obviously, probably not what you want. You will have this window pop up here called gradient. If you don't, the other way to get to this exact window, see where layers up here, remember properties from like forever ago? Click on properties and you'll find it right here, okay? See where it says type, it's the exact same thing. On type, click on the third option, the one that says freeform gradient right here where I am, okay? And when you do that, you should get 4 dots. They should be in the corner like so. Check out what you can do with these dots. You can double click on a dot and you can change its color to anything that you want. Let's go blue for this one. The second thing that you can do with these dots is click and drag them to move them around, and the color that's assigned to the dot will kind of like reflect off the other ones, all right? So maybe I want that one right there. The third thing that you can do, see this little weird circle right here? You can click and drag that to expand or shrink it, and that makes the light more like prolific or not as intense, depending. So click and drag and move these dots around however you want. Change the colors, make it look cool, whatever. The last thing I want to give you info on with these dots is you can add more than 4. See, I only have 4 dots right now. If you click somewhere else, so I just added 2 more dots right down here. I can double click on those and change those colors. So you can add as many dots really as you want. I really wouldn't go over, say, like 10 maybe, and it would probably get too crazy. If for whatever reason your dots disappear, you're like, oh no, what happened? My dots are gone. Simply take this selection tool, this black arrow, top left tool. Click on your square, your background. And then over here in the gradient window, either right here or right here, you'll both see edit gradient. Click on edit gradient and you'll see your dots come back up. And there you go. All right, saving and uploading. Here we go. Let's say that we're happy with this background or we're ready to go. First things first, make sure that you have a cloud saved copy of this. Hopefully I already just told you this in class, but see how Pair Demo right here has the cloud on it right there? This one does not, so I want to cloud save this. File, and then you're going to go to Save As right here. And then if this pops up, you want to choose Save to Creative Cloud. And in here, you can just name it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it Cell Shading Demo and hit Save. Afterwards, you should see a cloud icon. Now, we do need a second one on the computer itself so that you can upload that to Schoology. To do that, File, and then you're going to do Save As again. But this time, instead of Creative Cloud, you're looking for a button that says On Your Computer somewhere. So click on that. And then on your computer, you can name it whatever you want, but leave the .ai. Do not delete the .ai. It's Adobe Illustrator is what that stands for. And where, change that to desktop. If it doesn't say desktop, click on that and then choose desktop. Afterwards, hit save. This window here, you can ignore everything. Everything is fine. Hit OK. If I were to close out of Illustrator or minimize it and close these little pop-ups, you should find on your desktop the .ai file. Now the background might not show in the preview, but that's okay. I promise you it's there. This is the file that you're going to attach to the Schoology assignment when I show you what that assignment is. All right, that's it, guys. Good job.